Good day, Detroit. This is Herb Strather, and we're on DetroitTalkRadioShow.com. The Herb Strather Show on Detroit Talk Radio. And we're happy that you're joining us today. We have an exciting second show. As you know, our inaugural show was last week, and we had NACA, which is a special mortgage company that's providing financing in Detroit and other urban areas in the United States. And we also had Motor City Match, one of the directors there. We're talking about the exciting program where they're matching entrepreneurs. So as a follow-up on that, we have three wonderful guests today that's going to give us more insight in what we are doing in Detroit and what Strather Academy is in fact doing to help further our cause. We have Candace L., and she owns Little Big World in Ferndale. And it is a paint and play gallery, and it's a very exciting place, which I'm going to interview her and have her tell you about it and why she's moving to Detroit's second busiest corner, the Tower Center in Detroit, Michigan at Grand River and Greenfield. We also have Anthony Parker, which is a veteran, and he was one of the big time Motor City casino operators or dealers. I guess he got tired of taking everybody's money. So anyway, he has decided to join Strather Academy as a volunteer, really, and help people. And he puts a tremendous amount of time in. And I want you to hear from him and his passion of what he's doing, because it's off the hook. Saving people homes through the sheriff's sale. This comes in light of this HBO special this week about Detroit. And we also have Justin Petty, which is a student who's done deals, and he's going to show you an inside view of how it is over at Strather Academy and how to get deals done. So we're very, very excited. Candace, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Herb, for having me.
Thank you very, very much. Candace, you know, you are a very exciting entrepreneur, and I've been to your place in Ferndale, and it's truly remarkable. It has a great warm feeling. Tell me a little bit about Little Big World. What is its purpose and mission?
Well, thank you so much, Herb, for even coming to check it out. I was really excited to have you over there. Little Big World started because of my daughter. I was a mom, and I just was really tired of going so far away from where I actually lived for her to have enrichment programming, for her to be able to play, and just to be able to do mom stuff.
Okay.
Or just to be able to have parent things. So I developed Little Big World, and we miss art a lot. So people talk about STEAM.
Yes.
And STEM. So it's science, technology, engineering, art, and math. So we provide the art and STEAM. So we have our version of canvas painting. So we do. Have you ever heard of painting with a twist?
I've heard of the concept. Tell me a little bit about.
Well, it's kind of the concept. It's like pre-sketched out drawings.
Okay.
And the children do those.
Okay.
So we have five different series. We have apples and art. We have babes and brushes for the little babies, and we have canvas and characters.
What ages?
Toddlers and up.
Toddlers?
Yeah, we
You
do
mean
babes
toddlers
and
get in with their fingers and do their painting?
Yes,
Oh,
and we
that's
do their
great.
little hands, and the moms kind of help them with it. It builds parenting skills, bonding with the parents, and it also lets the children be creative. So it's really an amazing thing. And then we also have more for our field trips. We do things like introduce our children to Van Gogh and Andy Warhol and Baptiste.
Where did you go on your field trips?
No, they come to us for field trips.
They come out
to Little Big World.
Individual or
so like yesterday
schools,
we had
for
a school.
example?
Yep, yesterday we had a school from DPS called Gompers.
Oh, okay.
Over in Brightmoor, and they bus and they come over and they spend the afternoon with us.
Okay, so this is like a group of third graders.
Actually, it was a group of Actually, it was pre-K and kindergarten yesterday.
I guess that was really fun.
It was really fun, and sometimes we have first and second graders. We have all ages. It's really cool.
Well, that is really good. So initially there was STEM, and now it's STEAM.
STEAM.
You've added some culture in there, not just science,
You
technology,
have to.
engineering, and math.
If you can't get creative, you can't create other things.
I see. So I understand you have some really big plans for Detroit and bring this magic and this great need, because if it's not in the Detroit area, if it's not inside Detroit, all Detroiters have to really go out to the burbs. And it's quite a ways they have to travel, isn't it?
It is quite a ways. And so when I initially opened our Little Big World, it wasn't an opportunity to actually open up a viable business inside of the city of Detroit. it was not time. Sometimes
Okay.
timing is everything.
Okay.
And at the time of when I first developed Little Big World, which is in 2014,
Okay.
it wasn't this much momentum
Okay.
and push behind opening something. So I opened up as close to Detroit as I could on the border of 8 Mile. And so if you look at the location of Ferndale, it's actually on the border of 8 Mile. So
Right.
now to be able to come all the way into the heart of the city on Grand River and Greenfield is absolutely amazing, because not only did I grew up there, my husband says I'm like from Schoolcraft from Grand River. That's my area.
Schoolcraft Grand
Yes,
River.
that's my
Okay.
area. I used to walk to the Tower Center when I was in high school over to Redford. So like that's my area. And before I even opened up Little Big World, I looked at that corner. I'm like,
You looked at what corner?
your corner,
Okay.
right there on the corner.
When she says my corner, she's talking about Grand River and Greenfield.
That's your
right?
corner, Grand River,
that is true.
Greenfield.
That's where Strather Academy is.
That is
located.
Strather Academy. That's Herb Strather's corner. He is adamant about helping getting this corner developed.
There's no question. Go ahead.
And I am too, and that's the connection right there, because the corner is an amazing corner. How can you bring the city back and not bring Grand River and Greenfield back?
You know, Candace, I realize there's a question in the back of my mind that I've never really pushed out, but you are located in Ferndale, yet you won the Motor City match. Do they make matches outside the city?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. No. I applied for growth. I'm opening a second location.
Oh, so you really applied for this location for
Yes.
the second. Oh, I see. And you won that match.
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. I got you now. That makes sense. So now you've gotten experience out in Ferndale and the feel of it and the love of it.
So
and you
now-
want to come into the city.
Right.
To the big time.
So you win. So once you win space, you have to apply again to win cash. So we have to apply. So now we have to apply and see what happens at the end once they announce the winner.
Well, you know, I'm very much familiar with the concept because I'm also helping to do the landlord part and to help develop that out with you. But why don't you tell our audience about conceptually what all you're doing in all these different components, from the latchkey program and the whole shot, the ages and the competition and the whole shot. It's all yours.
It's all mine. Well, we're going to bring something really exciting. Detroit hasn't seen anything like this because actually it doesn't exist yet. So what we're going to develop for Detroit is going to be a model that we're going to be able to duplicate nationwide. But Little Big World Detroit, first of all, it's going to have technology. It's going to have a soft play area. So our technology area is going to be unseen. So I can't wait to reveal that. That's going to be like the jaw dropper. But we're going to do our little arcade games. It's going to be more like a Chuck E. Cheese Zap Zone right in the heart of the city. But we're going to keep it young for the younger ages.
What ages?
I'm thinking under 12. 12 and under, and we'll keep our over the top birthday parties. We'll make sure we'll have our birthday parties there because everyone loves the birthday parties. And we'll do the painting with the twist concept. And we'll actually implement more enrichment programs like some robotic classes from different STEM organizations like DAPSAP and things like that. Get those type of organizations involved so we can offer after school programming and latchkey.
Okay, latchkey, I understand you plan on getting the grandmas involved, the retired teachers. How's that going to work?
Yes. So we reached out to a few retired teachers to see if they were bored at home.
Yes, I'm sure they are.
Some of them are, and they said they could dedicate a little time.
She said some of them are, right?
Some of them are. Some of them said they're good, but some of them said, yeah, they're a little bored, and they wouldn't mind coming back and implementing some old lesson plans and just getting, the community the extra push they need to succeed in school so they can compete.
I find that very interesting because I've built a lot of optimist clubs, and many of them are built in schools.
Right.
And when teachers have been teaching all day, handling the students, at 3:30 or 4 o'clock, they're ready to go home. You know what I mean?
Well,
but there's always a few of them.
Yes,
that love the kids so much they never really tire. They just love them, and those are the teachers probably who want to go back and get involved.
Well, I think the incentive that I've given them to get involved is I reached out to the business school teachers, the math teachers, because what we need to teach is economic security. So with developing Little Big World, we'll have our concession area, which will be dedicated to our entrepreneurship youth program.
Oh my God, entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs.
Absolutely, 7 and up. And we're going to have little cohorts. They're going to run the whole concession area, the candy store, the slush machines is going to be theirs, and it's going to go through their scholarship, where they want a scholarship to go to Strather Academy, whatever they want there, because we have to teach them how to build their own. We have to teach them all the basic things that we're teaching adults. Why can't they learn at 7 years old?
Well, that's really great. So there's a couple components I understand from the entrepreneurship. One is they're going to help help run the business. You're a business. You're going to have them kind of as employees, if
Yes,
you will.
the concession area where we're selling the hot dogs and the pretzels.
And then, as I understand that there's going to be a space for entrepreneurs for them to lease space if they want to sell items themselves.
Yes, we do have a pop-up location.
A pop-up location for young entrepreneurs.
Yes,
a pop-up location for kids under 12 years old. Now that's exciting.
Yes, we do. We actually have it. We just actually launched the Small Business Saturday at the Ferndale location.
Oh my God!
And so we have three vendors actually reaching out. We have Product of Detroit, Detroit Official, and Baby Doll Couture.
Oh my God!
And My Pink Shoe Kisses, I forgot about her shoes. So we have those companies.
Those are the 3 products that they're selling?
Yes, at our little pop-up shop. And then we're actually in the process of getting the donations together to develop the concession area so we can get the slushy machines and do the build out and become a functioning slushy shop. It's going to be so cool. It's called the Sweet Life Candy Shop, and it's dedicated to the entrepreneurship of the youth. So that whole model is coming directly to Grand River and Greenfield.
You know, Candace, let me roll something out to you and to people all that are watching our show or listening to us. It's the ideal of marketing now. This is commercials like on television.
Yes.
I can imagine that people would really, really support that very greatly. And these commercials, if you bought 100 of them, it'll cost you $1,000. They cost $10 a piece. Maybe you want to do a 1-minute commercial and be able to let Detroiters know about that so we can really get behind you.
You know what I love? You know what I find interesting, Herb? Entrepreneurship.
Yes.
It's not per se a manual.
Yes.
So when you get in when you're privileged to get in mastermind groups around other people that can think, you get to learn things because you don't know everything about marketing.
You're right. Now, Candace, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a break just for a minute, and I want you to just hold your thoughts because I want to bring you back for us to wrap it up.
Okay.
All right, everybody. We'll be back with you. All right, Candace. You know that song. I'm listening to that song and looking at you because usually I have nothing but guys on the show,
Hey.
But I think that relates to you because you're truly a very smart young lady and you as fine as you can be.
Thank you so much, Herb.
So let's get back into what we want to do for our kids. As you know, I build optimist clubs all over the world, and I'm very excited about the kids. I guess that's why I'm so excited about what you're doing.
Because, it's touche, but our children are our future. And if we don't develop their minds where we need to, so they can succeed and develop financial security for themselves, if we don't give them this information early, if we don't make them an optimist club as children, so they can grow up with the things that they need to be the next developers, to be the next Herb Travis, to be the next Candace Ellis, to be the next community leaders.
I'm reminded of Tiger Woods. He joined the Optimist Junior World of Golf at the age 6. He was there 6, 7, 8, and he won. And he was winning. His father got him in at a very early age when he was 2 years old, hitting. And I'm thinking about Serena Williams, the Williams sisters.
Start them young.
They got them started young. And parents, how many of you are starting your children young? How many of us have got our kids involved when they're 3 or 4 years old? I'm talking about something very, very specific, not just a general career kind of thing and go to school and do your homework, but try to seek out what they want and focus on it. We have a chance now to right the wrong because we have missed some generations. And right now the world is more competitive, it's very technologically advanced, and we cannot take this passive position with our kids if we're going to change the world.
Absolutely.
Detroit is at a very critical point right now where everybody in the world is want to know which way is Detroit. We're kind of being invaded. A whole community is being bought up right now. 80% of all real estate sales is outside of Detroit right now. Can you imagine somebody coming here eating our lunch? Wonder how this is going to affect our kids. So what you're doing is going to make a difference.
It has to make a difference because bringing this to the community, we need the support of the people who want to see the community strive because it affects everyone. We can't let outsiders come in and just take our community. We have to build our community up. We have to water the seeds that we already have. See, we have what we need. We just haven't nurtured it properly. So now we have to stand together, and it can't just be one person. We have to have an agenda, and we have to fulfill it. And that's what Little Big World does. And that's why coming over to the Tower Center makes so much sense.
So what kind of methodologies are you going to have you going to have competition or?
Absolutely. We have to have some type of competition. I think I think we'll have competition between the cohorts with their sales and different things like that, and their marketing. Who did kind of like an apprentice, but for little kids, and they're both running their store. And they win scholarships.
Well, I tell you,
we won't fire them though.
I tell you, on behalf of the Optimist Club in Detroit, I certainly want to chip in because we run a lot of wonderful projects like the essay contest, the Optimist Oratorical Contest. The Oratorical Contest pays a $25,000 reward, a scholarship that can be used in college or in primary education to the winner. To the international winner, and as you go up that ladder, you're winning scholarships. Because I was a contested winner, I studied real bad, and I won the oratorical contest, became class president, wanted to be the president of everything. So I know how it changed my life. So I want to tell you that the Optimist Clubs is going to be one of your big customers.
I appreciate that. I'm so excited.
We want to host our oratorical contest. I can just see it now, Candace. I am so excited. I am excited, Detroit.
Are you
I can't
excited?
even pronounce it right.
I know, and I'm so excited. And I hate to just drop this jewel. You know, John and I had really been talking about bringing other Motor City Match businesses to the Tower Center and getting it filled. I mean, you have all these small businesses that just need the opportunity to learn how to properly do business, learn how to properly market, and do these things. So we hooked up with like Paul Garrison and John. And we want to make it like the new marketplace, like the new Uptown, like a Central City.
Uptown, like we might have to rebrand that name, you know?
We better.
You know, one of the things that I was thinking about too is we want to make sure that we reach out to some of the foundations.
Yes.
You know, I think it'd be a good idea if you reach out to them early on. Maybe they could take part of that whole thing as far as the STEAM is concerned. Maybe they can adopt that and create the competition. We give them a platform there and create the competition for the young people. I can see it now, them having an oratorical contest or a monthly engineering reward. Who can come up with the right little gadget there at a young age?
It's a lot of programs.
Isn't that exciting?
It is. It's a lot of programs we can hook up with. You have, like you said, it's another company called USEP. And they have, you have DAPSEP.
DAPSEP, yes.
Yes, my daughter actually is in DAPSEP. She wants to go for coding. She's been telling coding starts in January.
Well, she's going to be one of our competitors.
Absolutely.
Well, Candace, you know, I just want to tell you, you know, I don't know what really motivates you, but I can see it in your heart and I can feel it, you know.
I want to see our community win. I want to win. I want to win. I don't, you know, some people want to win and just want to be the only winner.
Right. We want our community to win.
I want to win and see everybody win. I don't want to come out my door and I'm the only one winning and everyone else is in power. I want everybody to win. I want to live.
Candace, when do you think that we can expect an opening over there with
Let's look at that
Little Big World
spring
Detroit?
2018.
It's spring 2018.
We're going to have a grand opening. We're going to shut Grand River down, Herb.
Okay. Well, Candace, thank you very, very much for being on our show.
You are so welcome.
And I'm
going
to bring you back before you open up so we can let everybody know about the excitement.
I cannot wait.
Thank you. Thank you, Candace. That was Candace L. She is the owner of Little Big World, and they're moving to Detroit and become Little Big World Detroit, and they're taking 16,000 square feet on the corner of Grand River, Illinois, and finally in our community, we'll have a place where we can nurture our kids without having to go out to the suburbs. Thank you, Candace. And we'll take a break for a few minutes, and we'll be right back with you with Justin Petty, one of our student entrepreneurs who is just doing fabulous, and he's going to give you an inside view on how it is to be with Strather Academy. So don't go anywhere. Be right back with you. We have Justin Petty. He is a Strather Academy graduate, who graduated cum laude, if you might say. In order to graduate from Strather Academy, you actually have to do a deal, because we believe the best way to learn is by actually doing. And Justin, you was one of the very first persons to graduate, and you did a fabulous transaction. So give everybody a little insight on what you've done over at Strather Academy and the learning process and where you're at with Strather Academy now.
Well, first off, I'd like to thank the Academy. It's been a long process. It's been about 4 years now since I've been familiar with the program, ever since Wayne County Community College.
You know, I didn't quite realize that until you came 4 years ago.
No, I started my plan. I started saving my money.
Oh, this is interesting.
Plan. So I was just, a faithful employer, educator, and I realized that it was time for me to move on. So I started a 4-year plan, saving my money up and following from Wayne County all the way to Grand River and Greenfield. When I got my chips together, I came over and joined the academy.
Well, that is amazing. You're the second person in the academy that said that. And I must admit, I didn't realize that you went all the way back. I guess I thought that you had just started a year ago, but you were introduced when we were over at Wayne County teaching much earlier.
Yeah, I'm familiar with your work for a
Well,
few years.
that is really, really great. So tell me about the experience. Is it exciting? Have you genuinely learned something? If you have, you got to tell the audience a little bit about you. I'm penetrating you right now. You understand?
Yeah. I've went from knowing very little to a substantial amount that allowed me to double what I was doing financially.
Well, tell us about one of your deals then.
Okay, one of the deals that I'm most proud of is a deal on. I won't get the actual address, but it's west side on McKenzie Street.
Okay, on an aviation subdivision.
Aviation subdivision.
Okay.
And initially, it started off as a redemption project. There was a homeowner in distress, and I stepped up to help them.
Yes. Okay.
Unfortunately, they weren't able to save themselves from their situation. We were able to make sure that they moved on with some dollars in their pocket and reestablished themselves.
Oh, that's great.
And so I was able to, as a result, assume the property. And I found someone that's very interested in it. I have someone in there under the land contract, and they'll be moving to a purchase this spring.
So you're going to convert them to home ownership.
Absolutely.
Justin, this is exactly what Strather Academy want to do, because everybody's eating our lunch, man, around the world. They're taking these homes and they're buying them off at the auctions, and they're keeping them and renting them. I guess they're going to rent them and wait till the values go up and then deal with them. But that ownership escaped Detroiters. Right now, we're down to the lowest point we've almost ever been in home ownership, because we've lost so many homes. But what you're saying is that you've taken this this particular house, and you tried to keep the homeowner in it themselves. They were unable to afford it. Mm-hmm. So you gave them some money.
Absolutely.
So they could help reestablish themselves, because there was equity in the house.
Absolutely.
And then you found somebody who wanted to buy it, and you got them in under a temporary land contract.
Absolutely.
Are you going to be using any of these mortgage programs like NACA or Detroit Home Mortgage to help them?
Very much so. This is the first time, from my understanding, that being a homeowner is once again the first step to economic security. As you know, in Detroit, it's been a sort of stalemate, and so it's very good to be able to re-inform or re-educate or energize people. And
the education component is so huge, because we suffer from a lack of education. Because like this property, I remembered it, but we do so many deals, I don't quite remember the real numbers. But what do you think the original existing mortgage on that property was at the time it was foreclosed?
At the time, the existing mortgage was upwards of beyond
$80,000. Mm-hmm. And you were able to get it around $20,000, I remember, wasn't it?
Yes. Through some of the techniques and understandings that I've learned, I was able to negotiate and get the settlement down to 20.
Oh, I see. So this is what we're talking about: the properties that have substantial mortgage values, substantial mortgages that are deeply discounted. Mm-hmm. Now, listeners, you might be asking your question: why would the bankers discount properties in Detroit so deeply? They don't do that in Birmingham, Livonia, Redford, Warren, Sterling Heights. They're not deep discounts right now. There were some earlier on in 210 and 211, but it certainly does not exist right now. And the reason that this was happening was because banks was being fully reimbursed for their losses. In other words, although you bought it for $20, the bank lost $60, the government gave them the $60,000 back.
Absolutely.
And this is what is happening now. It's not clear, because it was never publicly stated. It was something that was kind of a wrap. I just so happened to know about it because I got very credible evidence from someone that was on the committee, which consisted 100% of bank CEOs or the chairman, the top two people of the bank. They were the only ones allowed on the committee that made this decision up. And University of Michigan was involved in it, and I was able to find out precisely, and it did not surprise me. Now, my theory was that by Trump being in on September the 30th, he's going to probably disallow that. And I think that evidence is already starting to come out. So we'll just keep watch, because the very first time I heard one of the banks, Huntington Bank, had said they want a homeowner to make up a deficiency. I was shocked. I was shocked that they said that, especially in light of the fact that they were offered an assumption earlier, and they said, no, make it a short sale. So everybody agreed on the short sale, and they said, okay, there is a short sale, but homeowner, you're going to make up the difference. So we were quite shocked. That process started in September, before September the 30th, but it ended in like October. So it went through that September 30th fiscal year change, and that's when we recognized something was happening. So Detroiters, be careful on that. Now, let's get back to your experience. So that was your first experience.
Yes.
Well, that is very exciting. Have you done any more deals?
Yes, I've actually participated in 4 deals beyond that.
Oh my God!
Yes, and
now when did you join us?
I joined.
I know, but tell everybody when you joined.
Officially, it was late April of 17.
Of 17, late April, you've come in. This is December.
Yes.
And you're on your 4th deal right now.
Yes.
Well, that is exciting. So you've probably made yourself $100,000 on paper. Is that true?
Shh, don't tell anybody.
Well, here it is. Oops, there it is. Oops, there it is. So do you have any advice for anyone that is considering coming in? Because just maybe those who may be hesitant about the value proposition, if they can afford it, if they want to invest in themselves, if they want to take that gamble. Because don't forget, next year there's going to be a lot of people getting their tax refunds. Some of them are going to buy fur coats, cars, clothes, go to the casino, TVs, and maybe some of them are going to invest in themselves.
Right.
What do you suggest?
I always suggest investing in self. One of the greatest things that the Academy offers is a reset in psychology, and that goes for those individuals who may have that trepidation or fear or lack of confidence that it can be done. So I think that's one of the greatest assets the Academy offers, is a reset in the psychology of Detroiters in general, to understand that we can do it first and foremost.
And how about to support your coaches and all?
Oh yeah, it's familial. Coaches, you are assigned a coach, but everybody pitches in and everybody's available to help you whenever they can, however they can. And beyond that, this is I consider it a work-study type situation, because this isn't a passive situation where you're going to sit back and just absorb what's being thrown to you. There's expectations that you get involved in. The extent that you get involved is the extent that you learn.
Right. Justin, as I think about you, though, I think about the fact that you were very interested, you're very much involved, because classes are on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but on Wednesday you come in and do your deals. You walk in, sit down with your coaches, you find out who own the properties, and you can really get involved and learn. And I just recall that it wasn't only on Wednesdays. You'll come in almost any day and sit down like I sit down with y'all at the table, and you'll just become a part of us. I mean, yet a lot of students are a little nervous about it. They don't know if they can just come in and say, I want to be in the middle of this deal. Could I sit? You would sit there just at the table. I remember that.
Yeah, and I because one of the things is open door policy. I said, let me test this. So I would go in and sure enough, I would be included, sharing information and the deals. I would get on-time instruction. And
you see deals in real time.
Absolutely.
Well, and right now, those, it's very interesting, because the people who do that, they actually become the interns, not because they're tapped and asked if they want to become an intern. They become an intern because they jump in and they automatically become one. In other words, you become one by osmosis. You're sitting there absorbing it. You become part of the team. You offer your unselfish help to get involved and make things happen and help people, and bada bing, bada boom.
Yep, observation and participation.
That is really what it's about. Well, I am very, very excited. Justin, we really appreciate you, because I think that you really, really, really model what we want, and you're an ideal student. You came in and you involved, you invested your money, you learned what to do, and then you became involved and you've drunk the juice.
That's right.
And you think your life now has permanently changed.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. Justin, thank you much, very much, my man.
All right.
My newest intern, everybody, and a future, not a community leader, and a big time future developer.
Thanks.
My man.
All right.
Yes, everybody. So stay tuned. We got one more guest for you, and this one you really, really want to hear. He's a good friend of mine. I'm going to admit that to you right now. His name is Anthony Parker, and you want to hear his story, and you want to see what he do for people. And guess what? The education you're fixed to learn is off the hook. Stay tuned. Hello, everyone. Herb Strather, and we're back, and I am very, very excited about our next guest. I got to admit a couple of things. I've known Tony. This is Tony Parker, Anthony Parker, better known as Tony Parker. And I first met Tony. He ran the physical shop over there at Tony. What's
Milliner Center.
At the Milliner Center, and he is one of these health guys, a coach, and he kind of gets you up and he got my muscles up, although they've went down right now. But I met him, and I really liked him from the very beginning, and we've just had a fabulous relationship. And Tony, that must have been 10, 15?
20 years ago.
20 years,
Yeah.
20 years ago. It's been a long time. And during this period of time, we've been through a lot of thick and thin. So that was before the casinos started, and I opened them. Tony followed with me all the way there. As you know, I was the chairman of Motor City Casino. And then Tony got a job at the casino. At Greektown Casino, and we used to play racquetball at 6 o'clock every single morning at several different locations at the Y downtown. We played a lot of games, and now we play over at Northwest Activity Center. So anybody want to meet us over there in the mornings, come on over and watch me and Tony play. We have a lot of fun. But there's another side of Tony that beyond the physical health coach and behind us and beyond us just being friends, Tony has a very, very good heart, and he has a great story. And Tony, welcome to the show, my man.
It's good to see you again. Yeah.
Tony,
I see you every day, but it's good to see you.
Tony, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about your story? Instead of me telling them, I want you to take a few minutes and give us a little background and what brought you to this place, all the way up to this radio station in front of us.
Thank you. Well, as you know, that like you said, the casinos opened up. I got a job there. I did that for 16 years. But doing the casino job, I lost my soul, and I was thinking to myself, what can I do to help people instead of, the casinos is fun and you go in there and people play games and they win money. But for me, it wasn't challenging enough, and I could see the city going down at the same time.
Well, when you say you lost your soul, what do you mean?
Meaning that I wasn't getting anything out of the job. I was really going there. It was a 9-to-5 job, and I needed to do something that could help somebody.
And you were taking their money, yes, Tony?
Well, I didn't want to put that part in
Okay,
there.
okay,
But that was
right.
part of my job. I
Okay.
was a high-limit blackjack dealer.
Okay, high limit.
Yeah, and so, I saw a lot of money passing through the casino's hands. And so I decided, and I also had some health issues that I had to go through, and so that got me out of the casino. But during that time, knowing you, and I should have been with you 20 years ago when you started, when I met you and you started real estate, or when I knew you and you were into real estate. But I didn't do that, and so time went by, and I saw you, in your real estate deals, and I said, man. But there was the other side. People were losing their houses.
Right.
And
Now,
so,
Tony, you had some health issues. I think I did not mention the fact that you are a veteran.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And
So I was a veteran. But I mean, I came out of the military and I was able to get into the workforce. But I still had
you're
these.
a disabled veteran.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And so I had these issues, and I maintained for a long time. And then, as I mentioned, the job got to me, and I needed to find another way to fulfill myself.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And so I noticed that people were losing their houses. As a matter of fact, in 2007, I went through a foreclosure.
Yes, I remember that.
I did everything I could to keep my house, but we still lost it. And so when that dumpster comes out in front of your house and they throw all your stuff out, that gives you a different sense of life. I mean, you have a awakening that you don't really, you don't expect in life.
Well, Tony, that incident I remember because we became involved and we arranged a bailout for you, really. But what hurt me so much and hurt you so much doing that, I think there was maybe $29,000 or something. They were paid the lump sum of the money, and there was a small amount that was hanging over, maybe a few hundred, maybe $1,600 a limit or something like that. But they got $20-something thousand, but there was some interest accrued, a calculation. and they never stopped. They took the money and never stopped the foreclosure.
Yeah.
It was the most shocking thing I ever heard of. I couldn't believe they would do it, and I guess we missed it somehow.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Well, back then in 2007, I didn't know anything about sheriff sales, and so they sold my house actually for $3,000 at the sheriff sale. Now,
We didn't know
We didn't
because
know,
the 3,000, we could have just saved the money and bought it then.
and so I guess 10 years later, I was thrusted into helping people in foreclosures.
Yeah.
My whole life has turned around where now, like you said, I'm volunteering. I'm down at the sheriff sales every week. It's a weekly event.
Yes.
It's probably going on in all the communities or counties across the nation. But for me, it was to dig in and find out a way that I can help others from going through what I went through.
Well, Tony, I know you'd be helping others because you'd be putting the squeeze on me all the time, you know,
Yes, sir.
about
Yes, sir.
making these deals. I said, Tony, there's no money in this deal. You're like, Mr. Strather, look, we're going to do this deal, and you'll be arguing to me about it. So you persuaded me many, many times. Do you want to tell us maybe about a typical deal that you've done, maybe one of them? I know I'm just bringing them. Just tell us about maybe one deal that comes to mind, how you have helped someone, and maybe how this is a kind of a typical deal.
Well, as you know,
You don't have to say the address, but you
No,
can say
right.
the street or whatever.
well, as you know, the part of this sheriff sale process is to knock on doors
Yes.
and to talk to the people who are losing their houses. We get advance notice that somebody might be losing their house,
Yes.
and so you go knock on the door and you find out what their intentions are or what their plans are as far as saving that home or probably moving.
Right.
And so I'll give you an example. We went out. I used to go out in Inkster,
Okay.
and it was a Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
And I went and knocked on the door, and a guy came from the side, and I didn't know who he was, but he was a homeowner, and he asked me, "What you doing on the porch?" And so I explained my situation, that I helped homeowners, and we would like to help homeowners keep their homes if possible.
Right.
After talking to him and his wife for probably about an hour, convinced them to take a chance with us, or to at least go through the process to see if they can get their home back.
Right.
Now-
I know who they are.
Yeah. Now
Okay.
their home, they owed a mortgage of $150,000.
Okay. That. Yep.
I really shouldn't tell how much they sold it for at the sheriff's sale, but it was for pennies on a dollar.
Right.
And since they had trusted us and believed in what we were saying, we were able to help them get their home back for pennies on the dollar.
Right. And just to further that, we told them if they went into a lease for 1 year and never be a day late, they automatically could buy their home back, and they were able to buy the home back for about 40% of what the house actually foreclosed for.
That's correct.
That's
correct.
what we were able to sell it back to them for, and make a decent profit for the students. But that is a great example. And Tony, the other day they came to the office just to drop the check off, and they just sit there and told me just how great it was meeting you, man. And a lot of people have said that, especially the ladies, Tony.
Stop. Well, Mr. Strather, it's probably about the ladies.
We have fun here, Tony's a great-looking guy. He's a former musician too. He used to play with Fantastic Four and all of those guys back there. And I got my little music, my lapel on here, and I'm just a fan of the old school. The whole world is a stage.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that song, everybody? See, some of y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Now, some of y'all do know what I'm talking about. But go ahead, Tony. I won't interrupt.
No, it's fun, Mr. Strather, and you got to have fun because people are losing their houses, and you have to kind of get them out of the spirit of, if you can help them, get them out of the spirit of depression.
Well, how about others? Are you teaching others, Tony? Have you taken students out by the hand?
That's correct. We've had your classes at the academy.
Right.
Each class, I take a group of students and take them by their hand and show them exactly how to save homeowners and how to either save the homeowner or get equity out of the house to either put in their pocket or help the homeowner.
Oh, Tony, let me make sure we understand this. You physically take about like maybe you and another person.
Yes.
And you all go and you have the list of homes that are being foreclosed.
That's correct.
So you go up to the door and knock. You and them both go up to the door, and they physically learn how to do that.
And a lot of them wouldn't and don't understand that when you knock on the door, it's a person just like themselves, and they're losing their house, and so the experience is it's amazing for a homeowner to open the door and to be able to discuss their situation and for them to open up to us. Yeah.
Right. You know, and the thing about it, as we have discussed, and you know and exercise very well, you got to really be genuine, because somebody losing their house and you come looking at them cockeyed a little bit, they are not going to want, they will know, what do you want?
That's right.
They're going to read you. So you can't fake it.
That's true.
You know,
That's
you
true.
got to really want to help them, right? 100%. And Tony, I got to tell you, man, I am so proud. I guess I'm just so surprised, Tony. You know, you surprise me every day. And listen, everybody, I want to tell you, Tony, you know, he is a veteran, and he is responding to the need for people. And Tony, I just want to let you know, my man, that it's such a great relationship, and that you're such a valuable part of Strather Academy. I try to give you money, you take lunch and all that, but you I mean, you know, you don't even want to be paid for it. I mean, you know, it's just minor stuff. But for everybody who really want to take and become involved in real estate, this is what we got. This is where we come from. You meet people like Tony, who has served our country well. And he is a genuine person, and we have saved hundreds, not hundreds, but I would say 40, 50 houses right now, probably 40 or 50 homes of people who have otherwise lost their home. And now, as a result of Tony reaching out and myself becoming involved, we can make it happen. You know, I'd like to talk a little bit about the environment. I want to just extend on this environment a little bit, Tony. You know, there is the property tax auctions too.
Yes, sir.
And
it just ended. Actually, the deadline to get property taxes for this year just ended yesterday.
Wait a minute, there's two different things. I want to get into that too. But the
right.
property tax auction is when people lose their home for non-payment of property taxes.
That's correct.
And in September, those properties go up. Where it's a September auction, and they're sold. The minimum bid is the amount of the property tax, and then there's the October. Everything that's left over go to the October bid, and
That's
anything that's not sold there goes to the land bank.
And you know, that special that came on HBO was really depressing, because I think one owner or one person had $2 million invested in the city of Detroit and bought almost everything.
Yeah, well, they bought 300 houses for $2.5 million. I mean, no. They invested $3 million. And bought 250 houses.
Yeah, 250 houses. Yeah.
So I mean, that was a little bit over $10,000 house. I mean, you would think about it. You say, "My God, you know, homes are going." And these are homes that are rented. People that are living in. Perhaps the mortgages on those homes could have been $20-25 million.
That's right.
And this is all plays right into our earlier statement we had about the banks getting fully reimbursed. So therefore they sell the house for anything.
That's right.
Now the banks and even HUD, they have contributed to the decline of our city, and they have depressed our prices so much until they have reset the values in the city. And these values now, if you want to sell your home and you live on Outer Drive in Vassar, if you live on Snowden, if you live in a very nice community in Northwest Detroit, you'll find that you cannot sell your house in many cases for the mortgage that you owe on it. And this has been going on for 8-9 years.
Yes, it's ridiculous.
Like you would think that it would come out after 2 or 3 years, but this program had been extended, this reimbursement program, and there's been no incentive whatsoever the banks have had to try to get a good market value, because why? The thing the banks didn't want to do is to keep that property. So, you know, Tony, you could probably talk about some really great deals, and you know, I just want to share one of them with you myself, since we're in it and we do it together. We kind of partners, y'all. You know, I had a property right off Outer Drive near Edmondson School District right there, which is right north of Rosedale Park. And it was a very nice street, a very nice house. As a matter of fact, when I went up to the house, there was a Mercedes in it. And we won the bid for less than $1,000, as you can imagine. And we went up and knocked on the door, and the person said, no, they're going to redeem the house, and they got it, you know. But they didn't. 6 months later, we came back and said, oh, I thought I had 30 days left. And so we ended up giving them a few $1,000s, and they relocated. We fixed the house up, and we're selling the house right now through knockup. And the house had a $100,000 mortgage. It's going to probably sell for $55,000 or $60,000. But do you find, you know, these are typical transactions?
Yeah, Mr. Strather. And also for the homeowner, their pride gets in the way. Whereas there's so many con artists out here and people are trying to take advantage of them that when you come with a true story to help them, they don't believe you. And so you have to kind of convince them. And then once you, like if you come back from the sheriff's sale and show them that what the price of their house is, or explain to them that they can get their house back, then they start to believe. And some of these people believe and some of them don't. And that case of that house that you're talking about, the lady just didn't believe that she had enough time. She thought she had enough time to get her house back.
Right. You know, Detroiters, listen to this. 95% of you who are losing your homes do not even go to the sheriff's sale to see what the house sells for. Tony, one of the reasons I think, because people say, gee, I owe $80,000 is not worth it, I'm just going to forget about it. They have no idea that house is going to go for $8,000 to $10,000, normally about 10%. In some cases, it'll go for $100 or $1,000. Because then the banks, they just want their money. They don't care. They do not want to hold on to that house. But this is an unbelievable story.
Yeah, the seniors really are taking a hit, Mr. Strather.
Oh man, the seniors are taking
reverse
such a
mortgages. You know, and their houses. I'll give you an example real quickly. A lady on Appeline, her house had a $70,000 mortgage. They sold her house for $789. $789.
And had a $79,000 mortgage.
Yes, and so she, of
Now,
course,
I believe we were involved in that, right?
Yeah, she believed in what we were saying, and we was able to help her. She's got her house back now.
She got her house back, whereas if we wasn't there, someone could have bidded on her house, bought her house, and then all of a sudden rented it to her for $500 a month, and she would have never had her house back. She'd been there for 35 or 40 years. Now, we may have bought it for whatever. I mean, we didn't make very much money on it. We made it, was it about a 25%?
That's true.
We made a few $100s.
Yeah.
It was, we wouldn't allow it because we have senior citizens, and we're not going to leverage our senior citizens.
That's true.
But I'd like to just tell everybody who is listening, I want you to come where the dewdrops of mercy shine bright. And that's at Strather Academy.
Yes.
Just join us. Join the movement. Go to Strather Academy. And if you cannot afford the $2,500 tuition, okay, fine. Just join the mastermind group. You get a whole year's education for less than $500, and you can pay it monthly. At least you'll find out and get the tools that you need to stop this bleeding in our community.
That's correct.
This is Herb Strather, everyone. My main man, Tony, and we're taking a little break, and we'll be right back very shortly. Welcome back, everybody, to the Herb Strather Show on TalkRadio.com, DetroitTalkRadio.com. Tony, I want to get back to the property tax, to the tax auctions and the property taxes and people losing their homes. You know, it's really something because the federal property rate, if you, no matter where in the United States you live, if your income is below the federal property level, you do not have to pay property taxes. Yet, thousands of Detroiters have lost their homes.
Yes, sir.
There doesn't seem to be any real effort to inform them about this.
You know, I see these advertisements on TV talking about save your home, save this, save that, but they're not really giving the numbers as far as the exemption amount that or the poverty level. And so,
I mean, really, is that on television? I thought what's on television about how you can go out and pay your taxes.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. They're not really giving us explanation on getting off the tax roll. And so,
right. So what we're talking about here, Detroiters, so everybody make sure you understand, and people all over the world, you're listening here, what we're talking about is no matter where you live in the United States, if your income is under $16,700, you are exempt from property taxes. And I bet you, I'm talking to more than 1 million people now, probably 10 million people who don't know it. And you know, education is very, very important, and this is why we strive to reach out and say, look.
Yeah, knowledge is important, Mr. Strather. And also, there's a lot of lawsuits in place right now to get people their homes back who lost it, who shouldn't have lost their houses.
United Housing Coalition sued the city and Wayne County. They let Wayne County off the hook, but the lawsuit with the city is still pending. I don't know what the status of that is, but I think we're going to bring them on and have a discussion. But Detroiters, it is up to you to go to your neighbors. You know, you mentioned, Tony, the reverse mortgages that are being foreclosed. Many of these people with reverse mortgages have fallen that property rate.
That's right.
And if it's not 100% exemption, like if you live alone, it's $16,700. But if you make up to $19,000, you get a 50%.
That's correct.
Reduction. So it may not be a 100% reduction. It may be a 50% reduction. Now, even with the reduction, you still got to pay the garbage pickup. It's a little really tiny amount you have to pay, but it's not going to be the $1,500 or the $2,400. It may be $80 or $90 or something. So we got to do a better job of looking out for each other.
Yeah, we really should be on the airways, and I'm glad, Mr. Strather, that you do have this program, because maybe the knowledge and the information will get out there a little bit better than it is.
You know, one of the things that bother me, Tony, is that there's a couple of statistics. In 2014, 66% of Detroiters was on some kind of assistance.
Yes.
66%. This is what our previous interviewee told us when he was here, Paul Garrison, that 66%. I mean, I was thinking about that all week long.
Yeah, that's terrible.
2/3 of Detroiters now. So we desperately need the infusion of higher income technology people, and that is happening thanks to Mr. Gilbert, very much so, and others who are just hiring a bunch of Detroiters downtown. And this is beginning to balance out, because we need more income in the city. This is what drove us into the bankruptcy in the very first place. But where my concern is that 75 to 80% of all of our real estate is being bought by outsiders right before our very eyes. We're watching it.
And also, Mr. Strather, I mean, to kind of change the subject, the redemption policy has changed on a lot of people. So they go down to redeem their houses on the sheriff's sale.
Yes.
And they get turned around. And so
this is recent too,
yes,
right?
Yeah, since October.
So there's a lot of things going on now. The redemption policy has changed, and we're right at the forefront of it, trying to find out what's going on there, so we can take and help people who are losing their homes. And we also are trying to push out as fast as we can the information.
Yes, sir.
So here's what we need. We need Detroiters to connect to us.
Yes.
Connect to us. You can connect to me on Facebook. And if you want to take and invest in yourself, it costs $30,000 to $50,000 that some of these people from out of state come in and give these programs for
weekend programs.
Yeah, they're weekend programs, but all year long they'll take and give you a mentoring program for 30, 40, or 50 grand, depending on what. Well, we got a better idea. We're going to give you a mentoring program for under $500 for the whole year. You understand? And you could just pay. You could pay $450, or you could pay $45 a month. We don't. But we will give you webinars, we will give you deal desks, which will keep you current on what is going on.
That's right.
And we'll give you case studies. So this is important, Detroit. Let's join the movement. I want everybody to go to Strather Academy, and I want you to become part of the movement, either through joining the mastermind program or just signing up with us so we have your email address and we can keep you connected. This is Herb Strather, and we're signing off right now, but we'll be back next week on DetroitTalkRadioShow.com, where we are informing Detroiters of what they can do and harvesting this equity in our community for ourselves. Thank you.